Morning. Top of the morning, yes. Yeah, remember to set your chat to everyone instead of hosts and panelists. Otherwise, people won't be able to see your chat. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Natalia, good morning from Binhua. Julie Huang, good morning. Rumiko, good morning. Japan, Tokyo. Gifu, Japan. Fumi, hello. Aiza, buenos dias. Good morning. All right, so we're going to get started. It's 11 o'clock where I am, and it's much earlier for you as well. So Melanie, good morning. Nympha, good morning. Chia Chi, thanks for joining. We're still having a lot of people flowing in, and we have a great session awaiting you. I hope you enjoy it. So my name's Julie Huang, and let me just get started with the title. Do you know what the title is? It's Keeping It Real, Creative Activities to Motivate Young Learners. All right, so I'm just going to share a few little housekeeping rules. One thing that you might like to do is put your chat function to everybody, set it to everybody so that everybody can see it. And if you don't do that, we will only be able to see it and the others won't be able to see it, see the chat message. So please make sure that it's set to everyone. And then also you'll notice in the bottom section that there is a Q&A tool that you can use if you have questions that you would like answered. And please make sure that you put the Q&A here instead of in the chat box, because the chat box will be moving really, really fast. All right, so just make sure that you do that. And we'll try to answer some of the questions at the end of the session. All right, so everyone, today's goal. I always like to have a morning message up on the board, and it can be something written up, or it can also be something that's just on the screen. So for example, here I have, hello, today we will explore some creative ways to engage students in the classroom. We will focus on something and something, put on your students something. At the end, share one activity you enjoyed. All right. So just before we get started, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Julie Huang, and I didn't mention that before. I've been traveling and doing a lot of presentations before the pandemic, and it was really exciting to see all of the teachers. It's great to see you again, so I hope you enjoy the session. And again, we will be doing a lot of creative activities today. We will also be sharing some examples from Imagine, which is our newest 7-level series for young learners of English. All right, so just to read the room, Will is going to help me launch a poll, and you can just type you can actually see which one you belong to, or which segments do you teach right now. Can you just click on the one that you are? Right, so there's a lot of young learners, teens, university, adults. I'm not a teacher, that's fine. There's always something to take away. You're teaching very young learners as well. Very good. Teens, university, all right. Okay, so can we? Great. And can we end the poll? Fantastic. So right, and we can share the results. So it's very young learners, and we have a lot of young learners and teens as well. So that's great. I hope that you can have something to take away. We'll focus on a lot of the very young learners and young learners part as well. And I think that you will be able to take away something today. All right, so can we read this all together? And by the way, if my voice starts breaking up, it's because I am actually recovering from a bad cold. So I might have to drink a little bit of water. So please bear with me. All right, so let's just read today's goal. Hello. Today, we will explore some creative ways to engage students in the classroom. We will focus on, can you guess what this word is? We will focus on, and you can just type it in the chat box, Very good. Christine, good, good, good. Jia Wei. Speaking, good. Fantastic. And let's see, it's reading. What about the next one? Put and reading and writing. Put on your students hats. Good, or hat. Fantastic. At the end, share one activity you enjoyed. Fantastic. So this is the morning goal, and you can actually have this up on the screen or have it up on the board and write it up, read it together. And if you like, you can actually spell out words for them. All right, Doris, good morning. All right, so before we do the activities, I just want to focus on, in the session, we're going to be focusing on a little bit of reading fluency. And I always think about the PEAS model when I actually share this type of lesson with teachers. And one, PEAS is the acronym for some of the words that we will be discussing. Can you guess what P might stand for? Can you guess P? What would P stand for in reading fluency? Because we're going to be doing a bit of reading for young learners. P could be pauses, good. Pronunciation, good. Phonics, great. Yes, we're actually going to cover a little bit of phonics. Pronunciation, good. Good, good, good. All right. It's actually punctuation. So pace, that's actually a good one, Andrew, as well. Good. And then what about E? E is expression. Great. And what about A? Can you think about what A might be? Can you guess what A is? Articulation, that's a good one. Anything else? Accuracy, fantastic. By the way, if you do a really great job, I always say 10 fingers. Can you raise your 10 fingers like this? 10 fingers. Okay. And then if someone does a really great job, let's give them 10 fingers. Let's give Kitty 10 fingers because she got a lot of the answers right. Ready, set, go. Ooh, can you do that together with me? Ooh, fantastic. Great. So that's accuracy. What about S? Sherry? Yes, it's actually speed, but that was really great. Spelling is also very good. So these are some of the aspects that we will cover today. And I won't mention it explicitly, but you will notice that it will be in some of the mini activities that we do. All right, so let's move on. One way to get students engaged, obviously, is to make them curious. And how do we make them curious? One way is to show them a really, really compelling image or some kind of content like text that's really engaging for the learners. Another way is to reveal information bit by bit. So it's not the entire information, but just a little bit and revealing it one at a time so that they can actually get curious about it. At National Geographic Learning, you'll notice that much of we actually do a great effort to show the world to students. And we do that through really, really compelling images, photography. And that is one of our mission. We want to bring the students to the world, bring the world to the students. And we want them to be able to experience the world in a way that they can't, because we can't travel all around the world. We can do it actually through these type of images, photography that they see and learn about. You'll notice that in all of our materials, we have little captions in the photos that students can look at. And if they get curious, they can actually flip through content that will help them learn about it, or they can go online and learn about it as well. So make them curious. What do you see in this picture? Can you tell me what you see in this picture? What are they doing? What are they doing? Oh, right. Have you been running have you actually done a race like this before? Right. Where do you think it's taking place in? Pancake Race, right. What are they doing? They're running with pancakes. Anything else? Do you think it looks fun? Do you think it's fun? It looks fun, right? Super fun. Yes. Would you like to try it? It's a little bit of multitasking, right? You have to hold the pancake and sometimes you have to flip the pancake as well. Katrina, yes. Mayan, fun, right? So do you know where this is actually taking place? You might be eating it, right? What do you think the prize might be? What do you think the prize might be? Spain? Okay, great. UK, good. Yeah, it's actually in a place called Olney, and it's in England. Will might know it, but this is actually a fun race that's been that actually started in 1445 when a woman had to go to church and she was late, so she had to run with the pancake. So this is the Olney Pancake Race, and you can see that students can just instantly immerse in the picture and get curious about it because they're really wanting to know what this is, what's happening in the picture. And there's a lot of excitement in the picture as well. You can also see that there's a caption there that students can read. And if they're curious about it, they can go online and they can research it as well. So we always want to make that learning experience. We want to bring it into the classroom and help them learn about the world. So make them curious through really compelling images, photography, and also they can learn about the world through content. Here's an example where they discuss what pancakes are in what kind of pancakes there are in other parts of the world. For example, in Argentina, people in Argentina eat pancakes with a caramel spread. People in Greece eat pancakes with honey or chocolate. I'm telling you the answers. And people in Korea eat pancakes with a brown sugar filling. So it's just, this is actually, it's grammar and vocabulary, but students can actually learn about the world as well. So it's a great way to learn information from these images. So they're not just doing rote vocabulary learning or grammar learning. Alicia, wow, okay. Do you know any other races as well? Cultural awareness, great, great. I want to give you 10 fingers, John. And there's another race as well. In Indonesia, they do sack races. Have you been in a sack race before? What do you think it might be like? Right, yes, good. Yes, I've done it as well. When I was a child, I knew I was running like that. All right, and then toys. Yeah, you have this. And yeah, it's lots of fun. So lots of images. All right. So another one that you can do is here, there's lots of tiles, which I created for you. And you can create this on your own as well. So here I have a tile, a lot of tiles, which you can just take and then you can ask hide images behind the screen. And yeah, you never want. And then just have them choose one tile that you want them to remove. So which tile would you like to remove? I'll give you a hint. What do you think it is? I hid a compelling image behind it. It's not something with movement. All right. Anything else? Water, good. Yeah. You can ask questions as well. When you do this, you can ask questions. You can have the students ask questions as well. You want yellow removed? Okay. What do you think it is? Pool, good. Lalu, it's not the answer, but it's a great job. Anything else? Ocean, right? Can you ask some other questions like yes or no questions? Is it underwater? No. Is it a swimming pool? No. What about this one? What about here? Is it a place? No, it's not a place. That's actually a very good question, Joy. Berries, right. Is it pancakes? Blueberries, good. Anything else? Ice cream? Good job, maybe. What do you think it is? Cake? Oh, is it a kind of fruit? A little bit of it is. All right, yes. So here it is what is it? It's a blueberry pancake. Yeah, it's actually pancake cake, right? So do you think it looks interesting? Yes. It's a blueberry pancake. Fantastic. So yeah, this is a great way to show information, get them engaged in the material by just revealing little bits of information. It can be with images or it can be with text as well. And this is really easy to create actually. Just create rectangles on a PowerPoint spread and then you just make them disappear and try it out for yourself. It's really fun. The kids really like it and teachers love it as well. So make them curious. And remember, we said we have a caption in the picture. It is blueberry pancakes with blueberries, and the text here you can't see, but they are coconut chips. Yeah, the color is interesting. What kind of questions could you ask about the color? Yeah, so yeah, fantastic here. Great. All right, and then making connections as well. So you can make connections with images and photography. Willie, yes, you can try this out. Or you can, if you don't have PowerPoint, that's actually a good point, Willie. If you don't have PowerPoint, you can actually have some teachers, they put a little hole in on a cardboard, and then they just reveal it like that, and they give point value depending on how big the hole is. So there's different ways to adapt it. Remember, teachers, we can always tweak. I like to use the word tweak, adapt as you go along. All right, so make connections. And remember here, what is this? Can you tell me what this is? A bus. Katrina, good. Bus, they're fantastic. And what do you do on a bus? I mean, what is a bus? It's actually for transportation, a tourist bus, right? It's a white bus, good. Anything else? Tour bus, broken bus, good. A big bus, fantastic. Who rides on the bus? That's a good one as well. You know, you can ask the students to ask questions. It's an isolated bus. It looks isolated, right? It doesn't look like it's in the city. A bonnet bus, RV, empty bus, great. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you, if this is your home, can you imagine this being your home? Where is it headed? Good. This is actually a house for people. So what kind of questions could you ask? What kind of questions could you ask? Yeah, cool. It's a cool bus, right? Anything else? You can't imagine living in a bus. Is there a bathroom? That's a good question. Good. Anything else? Would you like to live in a mobile house? Mobile house? Why are they living on the bus, right? So there's lots of questions that you can ask students as well. How long have you been living there? This is actually a bus. What do you think the pros of living on a bus might be? Free tour. Is it comfortable to live there? Good. So there's so many things that you can ask just with this one image. This is actually from Imagine 1, level 1. So it's in the unit about family. So we're learning family words, but it's contextualized with this bus as well. So there's a lot of content that you can actually talk about just with this photo here. So who's living on the bus? Saving money for accommodation. Good. These people are living on the bus, and you can see how many people there. There are 6 people. Good. 6 people. And how many children are there? 4. Good. Anything else? And what about boys? How many boys? Probably twins, maybe. All right. I'm going to ask you to listen to some listen here and see if you can find out how many boys and girls there are. All right, so are you ready? Put on your listening ears. All right, ready? Go.
Activity B. Listen and read. Look at the photo. It's the Mays family. They have a bus called Schoolie. It's big. The bus is cool. Can you see Mom? Her name is Debbie. She's happy. Can you see Dad? His name is Gabriel. He's happy too.
Whoopsie, I stopped it,
Count
but
the children. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 boys and 2 girls. It's a fun family.
right. It's a fun family. And you can see here, there's information about the photo here. This is from the teacher's guide. In 2017, they actually decided to move into the bus. And you can have, have the students think about, okay, so what happens if you live on a bus? What would be different? They might have to pick the toys that they want to take on because it's not big enough, right? So help them prioritize what are the pros and cons. So there's a lot of discussion that you can do with the students. And obviously, just living on the bus, that thought is quite intriguing to students as well. All right, so this is the actual text reading. There's there's 4 children. There are 2 boys and 2 girls. In your class, it's happened to me a lot. If you ask students to read, what happens? They read like robots, right? So there's a lot of when we expose them to a lot of listening. We help them listen and we help them read the text. But sometimes when we have them read it, it's always very monotonous. And they read like, look at the photo, it's the Mays family. They have a bus called Schoolie. So one way to help them avoid that is to actually stress the content words. So it's the Mays family, for instance, if it's the Mays family, what is the most important word in it's the Mays family? It might be Mays and family. Good, Mays, because it's a name, right? So we help them to stress the content words, the story words. In this case, it's the Mays family, Mays and family. So what we're going to do is we're going to stress those with by clapping it. So can you just clap the words? It's the Mays family. Yeah, that's right, Janda, fantastic. You can use music. I used to use a metronome app because, English is a very rhythmical language, but sometimes in places you have a lot of syllabic languages where they stress all the syllables. So it's great to just have them practice through beats or music to get that rhythm. It's the Mays family. Let's just clap all the words first. It's the Mays family. One more time. It's the Mays family. Good. It's the Mays family. Let's snap it. It's the Mays family. It's the Mays family. Whisper it. It's the Mays family. It's the Mays family. And no sound. When you're saying it with no sound, you have to enunciate. It's family. All right. So, and then what you can do, they have a bus called Schoolie. Let's try this. They have a bus called Schoolie. Let's snap it. They have a bus called Schoolie and whisper it. They have a bus called Schoolie and no sound. And then you can have the students choose a sentence that they want to say with no sound, and we have to try to guess what it is. All right. So for example, if Kitty comes on and she can choose one of the 2 sentences that we just read and read it with no sound. Kitty, can you read one sentence with no sound? And we try to guess it. Ready? Go. Yeah. What was the sentence that Kitty read? Can you guess what it was? They have a bus called Schoolie. Fantastic. Good. Yes, they have a bus called Schoolie. So yeah, this is one way to do the reading, to get them to engage with the reading. Another thing is I like to use this here, which is different actions. You can't see Kitty. Oh, right. That's okay. Yeah, so I just demoed it, but that's fine. So first of all, when you see an X, and you can do this with your classroom presentation tool or whatever tool that you're using, when you see an X, you're going to clap. When you see a triangle, you point to the word. When you see a star, hands up like this. And then if you see a circle, you go whisper, whisper like this. All right. So let's just try it and see if you can do the motions. Ready? Go. Can you just do the motions again? Clap. Good. Point. Hands up and whisper. Can you do it one more time really fast? Clap, point, hands up, and whisper. Good. So can you do it without the directions? Ready? Go. Clap, point, hands up, and whisper. All right. So this time, what do you think this is? It's hands up, whisper, clap, and point. Good. Yeah. So those are different actions that you can do. And we do this a lot with the younger students. So this is what you can do. When you get them to, you'll notice that I actually put all of these actions on the content words, the most important words that we want to kind of stress in the reading so that they can read in a rhythmical way. And this is one thing that you can do. Look at the photo. Let's read it together and do the actions at the same time. All right. So let's read it loud and very clear. So look at the photo. Ready, set, go. Look at the photo. It's the family. They have a bus called Schoolie. It's big. The bus is cool. Fantastic. 10 fingers to you, all of you. Fantastic. Yeah, so this is an activity that you can do, and you can use this with the classroom presentation tool. It's very easy to mark up. You don't have to create shapes like I did. You can just draw it, and then you can also hide the shapes. So when you want to use it right away, you just pull it up and show the shapes right away. So this is something that I wanted to share with you, all right? And yeah, so just try it and try to get them to read with a bit more rhythm and naturally as well. Another thing that I like to use is punctuations. One thing about punctuations, it's very undervalued sometimes, is that students ignore it. They just read over the punctuations. They don't think it's important at all. And we do want to emphasize that, but we actually have to model it and we have to show it as well. So punctuation, what does a punctuation do? This is the family. There's a period, it stops. So stop, you can just do that. And then an exclamation mark shouts. So your voice will actually get a bit more louder and more energetic. A question obviously asks, and then a comma waits, right? But sometimes it's not just about waiting, you know, a comma has more than that. It can actually change the meaning of a sentence. Let's look for example with at this one here. Let's eat grandma. So where would you put the punctuation here? What would you put here? Let's eat grandma. After eat, good. All right, if you say let's eat grandma, what happens? Is she going to eat the dinner with you, or is she going to be eaten? Oh, she's going to die. Yes, right. So we don't want that to happen, right? So we put the comma there. And then what about don't stop? If you're at the traffic light and there's a red light there, what happens? Don't stop. Fantastic. Fatima, good. After don't. So yeah, and of course you can capitalize this as well. So remember that punctuation marks can actually change meanings, and it can also change, save lives. So this is one way to demonstrate it. Another activity that I like to do is to do a little role play with the students. And this is something that you can do as well. The reason why I use numbers is because if I use text, they will instantly focus on the text, and I don't want them to do it. I want them to focus on the punctuation. So this is what you can do. Can you just read the sentence with the number, right? So let's read the number 4, 3, 2, 7. But you can actually show this in your voice tone as well. 4. Can you do this? 4. 4, and then 3, 2, 7. All right, can you try it? 4, 3, 2, 7. Good. And then what about 9, 2, 5? Yeah. So Kitty and I are going to try the dialogue. I'll start off with the first role, and Kitty is going to do the second role. All right. So Kitty, And you have to try to make it as natural as possible, all right? For 3 to 7.
9 to 5.
7, 7, 7. Okay, so this is one way you could do it. And you can have the students create, thanks, Kitty. You can have the students, I'm pulling Kitty out from the audience all the time. So you can have the students create their own dialogues with these punctuation marks. And it's a really creative process because they actually create their own dialogues. And they focus on the punctuation marks this way. So try it out in your classroom. And remember, punctuation marks are really important. It's one element that helps with reading fluency as well. And then you can obviously have them read the text again with the punctuation marks and emphasizing it as well. If you want, you can actually do actions as well with this. All right. All right, let's take a little brain break, everyone. Can you smell the flower? Can you smell the flower? Good. Can you blow out the candle? Good. So this is a bit of deep breathing, and you've blow. Thank you, Siboni. So, all right. So breathe in, smell the flower, blow out the candle. One more time. You know, lots of the kids. I know that some of you are in lockdown. Some of you are face-to-face teaching. Some of you are online on Zoom, and the students don't get enough exercise. Sometimes they're really glued to the screen. So this is a little bit of mindfulness as well. Smell the flower, blow out the candle. Good. Now let's pick the lemons. Can you reach up high, really, really high? Good. And then pick the lemons. Good. Kitty, how many lemons do you want to pick? 2. Okay, good. Let's pick 2 lemons. 1 and then 2. Good. Now let's squeeze them. We want to make some lemon juice. Squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them. Whoa, good job. And then drop them. Drop them. Smell the flower. Blow out the candle. Good job. That was great, Kitty. Thank you. So that's one activity for a little brain break as well. Get them moving and, you know, try to get them to just refresh their mind a bit. All right. We're going to do a little phonics activity now. I'm doing a lot of activities. We don't have that much time to do all of the activities, so I'm just going to show some of them to you. We're going to do some as well. This is Imagine Level 1. And you'll notice that there are 2 full pages of phonics. All right. So on the left-hand side, you have the presentation. They're first going to start off with a little bit of presentation and the sound. They get used to the sound, and we move on, and we end up with a productive activity at the end, productive skills. So they are able to play a game, and they are able to say the words. So here, this is a phonics lesson, and I'm going to take you through a little activity here. So what's the name of this letter? What's the name? It is U. Good. Yes. Is it a small U or a big U? We don't know, right? Well, it's actually a big U. Let's say it's a big U. They're actually different in only the height, right? Some letters are different. They look different, but this one, the height is different. It's small. Okay, good. Now, what's the name of the letter? It's U. What's the sound of it? It's going to be the short vowel sound. So can you say, ah? Good, John. Ah, good. Can you say this with me? My name is U, and the sound is ah, ah, ah. Can you say it really loud? My name is U, and the sound is ah, ah, ah. Good job. And you can always clap, or, you know, you can use rhythm sticks, or I use little, this is an egg shaker. I find this quite useful when we do lots of the read alouds with students. All right, so my name is U, and the sound is ah, ah, ah. We know how to say it. We know the name of it. Now, let's spell it. Can you take your little finger here? Good. This is your magic finger. And then you're going to start at the dot. So can you say dot? Dot. Good. Can you say start at the dot? Start at the dot.
Start at the dot.
Down, down, down.
Down, down, down.
Round, round, round.
Round, down, round.
Up, up, up.
Up, up, up.
Down, down, down.
Down, down, down.
Stop.
Stop.
Good. Yeah. And you can try this again with the students. Let's try it again. Let's see how well you do. Ready, set, go. Start at the dot.
On the dot. Down,
Down, down,
down,
down. Round, round, round.
round, round. Up,
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 up.
up. Down,
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 down.
down. Stop.
And stop. Good. So that's how you write you. And remember, you have to say stop. Thanks, Kitty. And remember, you have to say stop, because if you don't say stop, what happens? It becomes a long, long. It could be a Y, or sometimes it can be a Q instead of an A. So you always have to make them stop. And another thing that you can do is, after you do this and model this with the students, you can have the students come to the board, and then they have to actually be the teacher, and then they have to draw it with the directions: down, 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 up, 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 down, 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 stop. And they have to teach the students themselves. Okay, so this is kind of like a modeling activity with the students. All right, so you know that it's a short sound. Now we're going to learn the words. What are the words? They're bug, bus, cup, jug, and what else is this? This is run. All right. So when we say these words, remember, they're going to be listening to this. It's a listening activity, and they have to point to each word, right? After that, you can have them segment the sounds. So isolate the sounds. Bug. Take your arm, and then how many sounds are there? B, g. All right. So let's do this. Take your long arm, or if you're standing up, you can actually have head, waist, and then, touch their feet. It's depending on how energetic you want to make this exercise, or you can do this different ways. So bug, b, g. So your shoulder is your first sound, beginning, middle, and end. All right. So beginning, middle, and end. B, g, b, g. And then let's try cup. K, p, k, p. Okay, let's blend them together. Let's blend bug together. Ready, set, go. Bug. Good. Let's blend cup together. Cup. Good. So this is a way that you can use, you can do with students. This is something that you can do with students. Thanks, Kitty. And then after that, remember, we were segmenting the sounds. So we were isolating them part by part. And, students are really good with the beginning sounds, but sometimes they're not really great with the middle sounds. So we try to make them very clear by doing this action. Yeah. All right.
Lesson 5.
Yeah. And so this is one activity that you can do. Another thing that I did with students was this exit reading. And this is, you can see these words were actually the ones that we just used right now or learned. Okay. So here you have bug, bus, cup, jug, run, jam, and map. So jam and map were words that we learned before in previous units. And we put this up on the board, and before they leave, I just line them up, and then they have to read it as fast as they can. And we put up a reader leader chart, a record sheet, where we time them and then say, okay, Andrew, you took 3 seconds to read this. That was great. And then Michael, you took 4 seconds to read it. Kitty, 3. And the reason why we do this is we don't want to encourage too much competition, but what happens is, if you try this activity, they actually try to practice and get better and faster at reading. So this is one way of encouraging them to do this at home, practice at home. And it's a great way to chart and record how they're doing with their reading aloud activities. The reason why I have 3 colors up, this is really entirely up to you, but sometimes I can do this simultaneously and just have them read, not as a record or time activity, but just as, okay, Kitty, you will read orange, Will, you will read blue, and Andrew, you will read green. So, or they can actually choose which color they want to read, and then they have to do it that way. And it kind of discourages them trying to memorize it as well. So this is one activity that you can try with your students, and it's a great way to get them really engaged with what they're trying to decode or read. And yeah, I usually did this at the end of a lesson, just before the bell rings, and then they have to leave, line them up, and do this activity. All right. Another way to do a phonics activity, I love to use these type of flat books, and it's just, for students, they can get more practice with this, and they like creating their own as well. So this is a sheet of paper, just a regular sheet of paper like this, and you just cut it up. And then you can use both sides. So here, do you remember the words that we just learned in the phonics lesson? It was cup. What else was there? There was a short sound, so bug. Anything else? Jog. Yes, Huyen. Anything else? What are all the words that you remember? Bus, good. Anything else? Jog, good. Run, good. Yeah, so you would write those words on the sheet of paper, letter by letter, and then cut them up. So you're only cutting till the blue line here, and then just fold it, and you will be using both sides. So for example, here, it's on both sides. I know that you can't see it because of my ghostly Zoom background, but you can actually use both sides, and then they have to manipulate the words by changing the letter in each word. It could be a nonsense word. It could be a real word, but that's okay because they're trying to manipulate the sounds and read them as fast as they can so that they can become a bit more fluent at reading aloud as well. All right, so that's one activity that I wanted to share with you. All right, moving on to paragraph writing. This is a little activity that I like to do with young learners. Paragraph writing, you have a paragraph, and sometimes students, when they write paragraphs are essentially, a collection of sentences, right? But you'll notice that when students write at very early levels, they will just write, for example, if it's a diary, they will write, I went to school, I had breakfast, I came home, and so forth. So I come home, I go to school, and so forth. And that's fine because they're just learning how to write a sentence. But when we go up to the higher level, sometimes you really want to have them write paragraphs in a more engaging way. And writing is a craft in itself as well. So when we write, there are certain formulas or rules that you can share with students that can create the writing, and it can make it more interesting to read. So first, when I want to show a paragraph to students, this is what I do. What does a paragraph look like? It can be a rectangle, right? So can you take your 2 fingers and then do this? Make a little rectangle shape. Good. All right, so rectangle, paragraph. Can you say paragraph? One more time, paragraph. Good, paragraph. Where's the main idea? The main idea is usually at the top, right? It can be the topic sentence. So we have a main idea at the top, and it's going to come up like this, like a circle. Can you make a circle? Main idea. Good job. And then we're going to have a detail. So can you say detail like this? This is one sentence. Your arm is one sentence. Detail. Good. Then explain it. So there's going to be another sentence that might explain the detail. Explain. Good. And then if it's a short paragraph, we can wrap it up. So let's wrap it up like this. Wrap it all up. Can you say that? Wrap it all up. Good. So let's try this again. Let's all of you take your hands and arms and see if you can do a little paragraph. Create a paragraph with your body. Paragraph. Good. Paragraph. Main idea. Main idea. Good. What's next? Detail. Explain. And then if you want to close it up, let's wrap it all up. Good. One more time. Let's say it faster. Ready, go. Paragraph. Main idea. Detail. Explain. Let's do another one. Detail. Explain. Wrap it all up. Thank you. Yeah, that's an activity that you can do. And it really gets them to do a little bit of TPR and then gets them moving and then helps them visualize the paragraph in a way that they don't normally do. They just read, okay, a paragraph has several sentences, that's it. But you can have them do this and have them visualize the paragraph. Another thing, remember we were talking about questions and punctuation marks. This is one formula that I always have students do. In the upper levels, I don't just make them write sentences. I want them to write paragraphs that are engaging and talking to the reader. When students write, sometimes what happens is if they're writing about spiders, for example, they write spiders have 8 legs, and they just write facts, right? But we want them to talk to the reader. When we are writing, we're not just writing facts on paper, we are actually talking on paper. And if we do that, if we think about that, if you're talking, what do you do? Do we just say, my name is Julie, I'm a product manager, I teach students English? No, we ask questions and we talk about our feelings and we say our feelings, or we say how we are. So in writing, that's the same thing that you can do as well. So this is one thing that I do. I ask them to write a question. I also ask them to write a feeling if they can, depending on the writing that we do. Another way to show what a nice paragraph looks like is using Cuisinaire rods, or you can just use different, just lines. I just use rods because I was inspired by John Hughes' ELT channel. He actually did a YouTube clip on just using Cuisinaire rods in the classroom, and you can search him if you like. So this is a Cuisinaire rod, and it's usually used for math, but you can also use it for storytelling and many other ways, many other lessons. This is a paragraph. A and B are paragraphs. Which one do you think is a better written paragraph? B. Okay, good, Arlene. Anything else? Who says something different? Can you tell me the reason why? Why do you think B is better? Jiawei says A. Right. And by the way, if your chat is set to host and panelists, make sure that you set it to everyone. Good. A looks interesting. Why? Okay. Some students said long and short kitty, good. More interesting, good. Depending on what you want to write, maybe. Yeah, that's true. Aha. Amir says more, it's clearly divided. Oh, that's a really good observation. Good. B looks boring. Yes, it does. It's just orange, right? All right. Yeah, so you have good points. Fantastic. Variable content, right? The actual answer is A. And the reason why is because, and this happens a lot with young learners, is that when they write the same type of sentences. I came home, I go to school, I, and so forth. And it's the same length usually. A good paragraph has sentences with different lengths. Yeah, A, because a lot of ideas is presented. Good, right. It's actually about the length of the sentence. If we want to create rhythm in writing, if we want to make it more engaging, you can always add in feelings, but you can also vary the length of the sentence. So if you have a long paragraph, I went to school, it was boring, or I went to school, it was fun, and so forth. So, and then, you can vary the length of the sentences. And one way to do that is you can use dice and practice. If you roll a 6, you have to write a long sentence. If you roll a 3, you have to write a shorter sentence, and so forth. So, this is kind of helping them to visualize the length of a sentence, and that a paragraph, a good paragraph, usually has different lengths of sentences. So just tweak it. You can use this. It's one way to help them visualize what a paragraph looks like. So I just wanted to share this with you. All right. And moving on, this is a writing activity in Imagine level 5 and 6. Imagine 5 and 6 have great writing lessons. They are communicative writing activities. So they all have a purpose. And there are like communicative writing genres, like, for example, writing an email, writing a diary entry, or even writing an advice, interviews. So they're very, very highly practical, and at the same time, they're real world content. there's always a model, a writing model that students can look at and read, and then they can actually replicate it, use this as a model to guide their writing and produce the final product. So this is a writing about your city, and you're going to also think about your city as well. This is Prague, and remember, National Geographic Learning makes a very, they make a great effort to make sure that we bring the whole world to the classroom, so students can learn about the world, experience it, even though it's an indirect way, experience it in a very special way. This is Prague. Did you know our castle is one of the largest in the world? That's a question, right? So they have a question here. How old is the famous clock in the main square? Have you walked across all of Prague's beautiful bridges? How many questions do we have here? There are 3 questions, right? 3 questions, right? Did you notice this is actually a poster to help attract people to their walking club? All right. So we are a friendly group of families and we go on short walks around the city center. We meet every Tuesday after school. When it's sunny, we have picnics on Saturday afternoons. Come along and bring your family and friends. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to create a poster about your city and you're going to ask questions. Are these questions attractive? Do you think they will attract the reader? Did you know our castle is one of the largest in the world? How old is the famous clock in the main square? You want to get curious. You want to know, have you walked across all of Prague's beautiful bridges? Do you know how many bridges Prague has? Like, I just learned they have 700 bridges. Wow, that is a lot of bridges, right? So this is a poster that you can create with the students, and they have to create this poster using questions, and they're talking to the reader. All right. So remember, yes, 70. So there's like 700. Wow. So remember, we're talking to the reader, and when we talk to the reader, what do? We ask questions. We can say how we feel. So this is what we're going to do. We plan a writing with a graphic organizer, and this is in the Imagine book. They have to read a model, they have to look at the model, analyze it, and then they have to create their own poster for their city. Yeah, infographics. Good, Mark, Kevin. So I want you to think about your city. Where are you from, by the way? Where are you from? Can you tell me where you're from? Osaka, Keiko, right. Shanghai, Joyce, good. Vietnam, Taipei, Mongolia, oh my goodness. Tokyo. Yes, we have a wide variety. Now, I just want you to think, what kind of question would you ask? Iran, what kind of question would you ask about your city to make it engaging and you want them to come to your city? What would you write? Thailand, Tainan, okay. What would you write? What kind of question, what is one question you would ask about your city? Can you say one question about, can you type in, what food do you have? Okay. What is your national food? Right. Anything else? But you want to ask the reader and you want to attract them to come to your city. What are you going to ask? Do you want to eat som tam? Do you want to eat Vietnamese noodle? Come to Ho Chi Minh. Have we seen the flagpole? What is it? Do you like history? Right. Do you like history? Come to Vietnam. Come to Japan. What are your cultural practices? Right. What is the name? Have you ever seen Kokura's castle? Good. Have you tried our stinky? Would you like to watch sumo? That is a good one. Joy, very good. Would you like to watch sumo? Come to Japan. What animals do you see in Nara Park? Good. Yeah. So you're going to create questions to attract the people to come to your city. So that's one thing that you can do. And then you can create your, would you like to learn more about how to make sushi? Have you been to Himeji Castle? Good. So these are all nice questions that can have the students think about that topic. and then attract the reader. So we're always thinking about the reader. And when we write, we have to make sure that we tell the students, okay, you have to think about the reader. Sometimes they just write for their own purpose, right? And they're just writing facts on sheets of paper, and there's no energy or music to it. So this is one way to attract the reader. Include questions, okay? And so I just want to share my example here. So a poster shows information in an interesting way. We can use pictures and questions to make people want to read the information. So explore Seoul. Do you want to bike by the river? Do you want to dance BTS songs? Do you want bulgogi? Come to Seoul. We have the best bike roads. Come to Seoul. I will teach you to dance bulgogi. Are you feeling hungry? Well, see you in summer. It will be fun. So remember, we have 3 questions in here. We ask questions to attract the reader, and we included some interesting facts as well, a detail, and we added in some feelings or how it would feel in the sentence as well, in the paragraph. All right, so this is an example on Jamboard. I created it on Jamboard, but obviously you can use Padlet if you like. We use a lot of Padlet these days. Jamboard is fine, whichever platform is more convenient for you. Even just shared documents like slides is fine as well. This is for slightly higher levels, but just try it out. Jamboard is very easy to use as well. All right. And another one, this is a fact file in Imagine level, I think it's 6, right? It says level 6, unit 5. It's about animals. And of course, remember I told you that there is a model writing that they can refer to, read it, and analyze it. And on the right-hand side, there is a graphic organizer that shows how the writing elements were dispersed or arranged. And then in D, they can plan their writing in the graphic organizer and write it themselves. So this is the graphic organizer that a student created. And I just didn't fill it all up, but this is what she said. Wild rabbits can be found in woods, forests. They sometimes jump and flick their heads. Okay, and so you can create animal fact files, great activities to do. And of course, you can also create, if you want to make it into a project, you can create fact file pop-up books. And this is a pop-up book about a giraffe and their lifespan and habitat, size, diet. This is actually based on the book, the Imagine Level 6. Yeah, would you like to try an onsen? Good. So yeah, and then did you know, I added in a question, did you know that they have a long blue-black tongue, and they only sleep for 5 to 30 minutes in the wild. So they're taking very, very quick naps. So in 24 hours, if you have a full day of 24 hours and they're only sleeping 5 or 30 minutes, that's a very short sleep, right? So that's a fact file from fact file with the students. And I just want to share another one as well. I just want to share a video. And the reason why I'm sharing it is you can have this as an individual project, but you can also create it and make it into a class book as well, class project as well. So let's just watch the video and see how you could adapt this. All right. So yeah, pop-up books are easy to make, and there's another creative way of making it as well. So, and this is what the final product will look like. When students have finished writing and drawing about their pet, take all of their projects and put them together side by side like this. Then, using your glue, start pasting all of the projects on top of each other. Now let's open up the class book. On the first page, you'll see my example of Max the cat. And on the second page, another student's example. This is your class pop-up book.
After all the projects are glued together, we can create a nice cover for this class pop-up book. Here's an example. Do you like the cover? I'm sharing some other examples of my pet as well. Let's have a look inside. My turtle. And my goldfish or fish. And my puppy or my dog. Do you see how creative and flexible this project can be? It can also be quite rewarding. Students can work together and create individual projects, but in the end, it becomes one class book, which they can read together and look through together as well. I'm curious, what theme or topic or subject would you use this template with?
Yeah. So did you like the idea? Yes, yeah. See how you can, Sam Ni Hong said, great STEAM idea. Yeah, see how you can actually tweak it and adapt it. So you're just taking a very simple pop-up book that you can create individually, and then you place it on top of each other. So one thing that you have to be careful about is, as a teacher, make sure that you take, if you have 10 students in your class, you have to make sure that they're cut. You take the 10 sheets, fold it in half, and then cut it all at the same time so that the slot is in the same position. But you can help them do it. It's a no fuss activity. It doesn't require them to, have a lot of coordination. And it's also very creative. You can adapt it in many different ways. Sorry, my voice is not in a very good condition today. So try this activity, and I wish I could see all of your projects that you do with this. And I just want to see how it goes. All right. All right. So this is the activity that you can do. You can have them create a class book with the giraffe animal fact files all together, place it on top of each other, and create a class book. And, when you have like open house day, you can show it to the parents. It's a great tool. You can have them read the class book together and put it on a video. And it's, there's so many ways to do this. It's endless, and teachers are always creative. So there's better ideas out there as well. All right. Okay, and then, an exit slip. I like to do this with students. Remember, I was doing the reading exit slip with the students, exit reading. You can do this on Jamboard, have them write, use sticky notes, and then talk about what they learned that day, or you can give them a task like, give me an example of an animal, a non-example as well. So, use sticky notes for exit slips, or just kind of assessing. This is a formative assessment strategy, and all of the formative assessment strategies are on the Imagine companion site for teachers. So use those resources. Okay. Yeah. And moving on. So I just wanted to share some information about National Geographic Learning's new title. Imagine is a series for young learners of English. Do you know how many levels there are? Can you guess? Can you count them? There are 7 levels in Imagine. It starts from, very good, Wafa, Tangnet, good. There are 7 levels in Imagine, and it starts from a pre-A1 to an A2. So you will definitely love teaching with Imagine. Remember, I showed you the photos. There's excellent photos from around the world. There's so much content like that you can actually talk about. And it's just very engaging, and the students really get engaged with the content. Yes, Mayan, if you would like to have a look at the content, you can contact our representative, and we will share information about that later. And this is the unit close-up. Imagine the unit opener. So lots of, how many images are there? How many photos? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's sometimes a photo in the phonics lesson as well. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's actually 5. So, there's so much to just look at, and it's always photo from around the world somewhere or someplace, or some person is featured in the photo. It's really highly engaging. So it's not just rote memorization of vocabulary. They're actually engaging with the content. Also, we just have a new teacher resource out, and lots of teachers have been asking about practical tips for teaching online. So this is a title that I wanted to share with you. It's a title for professional development, and you can actually go online and learn about it. If you Google it, Breaking Through the Screen, you will be able to find more information about it. My colleagues will put the link in the chat box if you like. And yeah, photos over cartoons. Cartoons work nicely as well. I don't want to mention that cartoons are bad, but photos, they're so real. And remember, National Geographic puts a great effort into showing the usual in a very unusual way. So this is where the students' engagement and curiosity sparks and kicks in. All right. And so Breaking Through the Screen, take that into consideration. I think we have authors doing a session next month, right? So just visit our website. And follow up today, we have recording links and e-certificates going out. An e-certificate will be emailed to you with a recording as well. Remember, it's an e-certificate, meaning that you type your name there. So when you download it, type your name and then print it out. All right, so check your email. And there's some great webinars coming up. This week, we have Eugenia Corbo from our global National Geographic Learning team, and she will also be talking about young learners and taking examples from Imagine as well. So this is Eugenia Corbo. And also Andrew Tiffany, our colleague, will also be doing a literacy-based lesson for early teens with Andrew Tiffany. All right, so that's on March 24th. So mark your calendars, just sign up for it. Yes, and follow up, would you like to speak with a representative? Will is going to post a poll for us. If you'd like to speak with our consultants, please just click the answer in the poll and you'll be contacted if you'd like. All right. All right. Good. Okay, good. And we can end the poll now. Okay, good. Thank you. And that was it. Everyone, you did such a great job today. Did you enjoy it? Yes. Let's smell the flower. Smell the flower and then blow out the candle. Smell the flower. Blow out the candle. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. And I can take questions, I think.
You've got a couple, Julie, in the Q&A box.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's actually, Sammy Hong has a really great question. Yeah, this is something that comes up a lot with photos when you have a target language, right? But you have a great photo that you want to talk about. You can use the target language, the English target vocabulary to talk about it. But for details like talking about the context, you do not have to use English. You can use a different language, your native language if you like. And you can introduce information, scaffold it so that it's the language is structured and in a way presented to the level of students. Yeah. So we don't encourage, like, if you don't want to teach the picture, it's just there to get them curious about it and to engage with the content and the vocabulary as well. What we can do is, if you're teaching about animals, you can see how many animals, what color is it, and so forth. If you want to go deeper and then talk about where it's from, that's fine as well. All right. Collaborative writing, yes, why not? Collaborative writing, you can do. Amir, it's a great question as well. Collaborative writing, but you probably have to structure it so that it's more scaffolded and broken down into manageable length and content. Yes, children do not like writing. So one thing that you can do, Wafa, is you can have them, you can show an image, like an engaging content, ask questions about it, and then think about like for writing, what happens is students say, oh, I don't know what to write. But everything is a writing opportunity. Like you can write about something from that object's perspective. If it's a chair, it can just be write about something from a chair's perspective, or you can just brainstorm all the writing aspects and then just take one part from there and then take that seed idea and start writing about it as well. Or they go both. I think, yeah, I would say both, yeah, at the same time. What comes first, fluency or accuracy? I think they go, there's always a balance that we need to have with students. If you're focusing too much on the accuracy, the fluency is just lost there. So having a balance of both would be great. All right. So I think that's about it for today. We kind of ended a little late, but everyone, thank you so much for joining, and a pat on the shoulder because you did a great job of joining early this morning. And I hope that we can see you next time. We have Eugenia Corbo this week, and we also have Andrew coming up next. I think it's next week as well. All right. So everyone, thank you so much. And thank you to our colleagues for supporting. And we hope we can see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Bye.